when I was talking to my orthopedic surgeon, he never even gave me the option for an amputation because I said, okay, so because they were just doing all this stuff to try to salvage my foot, which was absolutely crushed. And I was just like, so like, what's the outlook? Like, what am I going to be able to do on this? You know, it's just like, am I going to have articulation? Because he never really went over that. He's just like, no, you're not going to be able to move your ankle around anymore. You're going to have zero articulation. And I'm just like, well, I have to get the feeling back. And he's just like, no. And he's just like, and then he said, I was just like, okay. I'm like, I had compartmental syndrome. And so they had to do fasciotomies on both my feet. And so I had big gaping wounds. And then on my right foot, I had, I actually got a sepsis infection. Okay. And so they had to do like debridements of it like every other day to just cut out infected tissue and to try to stop the spread of it. And so I was losing so much muscle down there. They're like, okay, we're gonna have to take like a muscle out of your back to fill that gap now. And I'm just like, okay, so now you're talking about, you know, I'm gonna have to cut tissue off from other places. And I was just like, okay, so all of this stuff sounds like a prosthetic, but not a prosthetic. But it's gonna be painful because like I would have the neuropathy still, but there's also like chronic pain, not neuropathy related that I deal with, having a fused bone, a fused ankle. And I was just like, so what's that gonna? He's just like, no. He says most people are on painkillers for most of their life. And I said, okay, so I think it's time we start talking about amputation. He's like, well, I don't know if we're there. And I was like, we're there. I was like, Doc, I said, we could keep trying to save this, but like, tell me what that outlook looks like. And he's just like, he's like, we have this plastic surgeon that's been itching to do one of this certain surgery. And he's just like, I know him personally, I'll get him in here. And I start talking about it, that's how I found out about it. And he, after all, he's just like, I've done a bunch of research on this. He says, you're gonna be the first one. And he's just like, he says it's a really good, thorough study. He's like, the military's been using this kind of stuff at, I don't know if it's Johns Hopkins or wherever the military hospital is. He's like, they've been doing this a lot, and they've been doing it for a long time. He's just like, it's a study that's been thoroughly examined enough that the FDA or whatever says we're cleared, I think. And so they did it. He did it, and it was, oh, great.